It's Wildcard weekend. It's Friday. I have a guest that's never been on before. Touring stand-up comedian, formerly with Barstool Sports, and host of the $20 Chef Cooking Show. Shaun Latham, how's it going?
I'm doing wonderful, Steph. Thanks for having me on your show. It's an honor to be here.
Anytime. You can take your drink. You should take a sip there. I'll probably exhaust you. Probably
nice coffee left over from the press.
How's it going? Are you excited for a Wildcard weekend?
I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be sloppy play. Obviously, it's weather with the weather, but it's still fun to watch. I took second place in my fantasy league, so I got that $180, and I'm just kind of figuring out what to do with it. I'm really so excited about that big second place after 12 years in this league. The rest is just extra. It's whipped cream on top of with the cherry or whatever the saying is.
Do you guys have a punishment for your league? Do you have a punishment for your fantasy league?
Do I have what?
A punishment for your fantasy league. Like if someone comes in last place, is there a punishment?
You know what? I think there probably was, but I got second to last in the punishment league, so luckily I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. You were with Barstool. How was that? Like I have a lot of guests that come on that were formerly with Barstool, very friendly towards the Barstool community. How was your experience over there?
It was great. Like from an office work standpoint, it was incredible. You get, as long as you sell ad space, like if I was hired on because I had a show that sold ad space, that got a lot of views, so it sold ad space. There's kind of two ways you work there. It's either you just get hired on as like a blogger and you don't really have to focus. You don't worry about your intake of ad dollars. And then there's the ad side where if you have video content that they think they can sell ads, make money on you, then you go on. That's how I got on with Pat McAfee. My show hit well. And then before I even had a contract, I had a $100,000 deal with Frank's Red Hot. So then,
oh yeah,
that's when my show. That's why when Pat left Barstool, I went to New York. Probably should have stayed in fucking Indiana, but whatever. No, but Dave's. It's good working for like a guy like him because I've worked for a lot of different people, and I like working when you don't know you don't know where you stand. Like walking on ice. I've been to so many different places and where you don't know if you're the best employee or if you're going to get fired when you walked in.
Yeah.
Dave's not like that. You know exactly where you stand at all times. Like you have the most direct conversations about your employment, about what's going on, about everything. I wasn't one of the dudes that he likes to make fun of publicly. Like he still did it a few times, obviously, but so I was more behind closed doors. I always knew where I stood, and I like that. I like that I had 100% creative freedom because I paid my bills I paid my salary through ad dollars.
Yeah.
So the best part, and it's not even close, is just having the creativity, 100% creativity and creative control, and 100. And you have your own dedicated. I had my own dedicated producer who did filming, editing, social media, and he was incredible. So being able to have that, like, because I'm kind of like ADD and I'm not really good. If I have to also do the editing and also do all that other shit on the other side, then I'm gonna the project's not gonna get very far because I'm good at writing, creating, and doing it all in the performance part. But when it comes to the other end, I'm just an absolute shitbag. So having a person,
producer Ryan is backstage right now, probably laughing because I'm exactly the same way. Like I cannot do any of that. Like I can get on camera and do my thing, but when it comes to that, I do not have the fucking attention span for it. And there's an Adderall shortage right now. So some weeks are worse than others. Like,
yeah, especially that. And you know what though? And I think that if you listen to any kind of powerful people speak, like one of them Bill Burr jokes when he was he did Night of the Living Stars or something like that, where he just roasted what's his name from Apple. The original Steve Jobs. Because Steve Jobs surrounded himself with people like doing the things that he can't do. So that's the key to it. And if you listen to any CEO talk or any one of these people on the internet that love to hear themselves talk, they actually have good in their messages that whatever you can't do, you better work with somebody who can do that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's Barstool. They gave me that opportunity for years, and I did it, and I made a pretty good amount of money, and I got a lot of exposure. I mean, maybe I didn't really I was, when it ended, it ended. It's just the way life is. Shit's always going to end. But, I maybe there was a few things I'd like to change about the ending. But at the end of the day, it was an incredible experience. I got to be 100% creative, and it showed me that I can be liked on a certain level and do something creative and be happy about doing it. So yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I don't have anything ever negative to say. It was great.
Yeah.
It was
How
great.
long were you with Barstool?
I started working first with Pat McAfee Barstool version. Like he had that, he had his own Barstool in Indiana. That was but I was already buddies with him for years, but randomly through stand-up. But I started working whenever Pat started. I started a couple of months after that. I came on. I co-hosted his serious show Out the Gates podcast before that. So that was like 2017. And then 2018, I moved to New York, and I was there 19, 20, and I think my contract ended right at the beginning of 2021.
Yeah, and
so I've been
Pat's and then it's all people are talking about the Aaron Rodgers stuff and whatever. But I think Pat actually really revolutionized like how sports media is starting to get consumed. Like he really was the first to do it the way that everyone is doing it now. Like to be a part of that must have been very cool. And I think that it's easy for people to hate on someone that succeeded. So it doesn't shock me that Pat gets like a lot of hate right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Pat has done something that no one did before, and that's why he's had success.
Yeah, but if you like knew Pat before all this, and I'm sure all his teammates say this, I mean, they already say it now, but that dude's just an electric ass dude. Like, just being around him, I've opened for a lot of very famous people. I've been loved, over my 20-some year career of doing this, being in this field. Some people just have a different, like, they just built different, and no matter like how funny I feel, I know I'm funny. I know I'm really funny. Like, maybe it's thank God I had enough trauma, whatever Gen X trauma was, to make me funny. But this dude is great at everything he does. Like even when he throws you a football, you can hear it coming. Like I've never heard that in my life of playing sports my whole life. A punter threw me a ball. I used to go to his backyard and first we'd warm up and then he would kick punt. I'd just be back there catching his warm. He was training for the season. To open up.
Yeah.
You could hear the ball humming coming at you. And then he's just so witty, so creative, and his brain just is a monster. So no matter what style of media he did do, there's no, like I used to call him Neo from the Matrix because the dude is just, he's the dude.
Yeah.
So for him, I think that a lot of people say, like he has changed a lot of things, but I think it just shows that if you're just a strong enough personality and you really want to do this enough and you really have the passion, the people are going to come with you. And so his style is he sits around with his friends. And now guess what? He's never been, I know that he has to be some political side, right? But it's never online. So the only real difference that he's getting hate now is because politics has been thrown in the mix.
Yeah.
If you take that away, none of this is happening.
Yeah.
None of this crap is happening, and it's just him and his buddies talking shit on the microphone. But yeah, it was really incredible to be there from the very beginning, and I miss a lot about that. I'm not a sports guy like that, no. I'm not, I lost touch with sports as I got older and as I was touring doing stand-up. I didn't have cable. I didn't watch games. I was driving or at shows on the weekends. So sports just kind of took a back seat until I started working with him. And then I, had to pick up a little bit, but it wasn't a sports show then, though. So we would talk about it sometimes, but it's not like it is now.
Right. As far as your favorite sports teams, I know you're saying it took a little bit of a back seat. What are you? I feel like the producer Ryan thinks so. I would guess that you're an Arizona fan of some sort, but you also said right before the show that you live in California. So I don't know. What is your allegiance to?
Well, I moved around when I was a kid, but I'm from Los Angeles originally. But now these days, I'm pretty fair weather, and I'm okay with that because I know everybody's so passionate about it, and they're throwing and busting TVs and all this shit. And it's very high ratings to watch people shit their pants and have breakdowns over their team. Yeah. Honestly, if my friends got I got Diamondback stuff right now. I'm an OG Dodger fan from my childhood, but now my buddies, my cool ass homie in Arizona's like, you want to go to the playoffs? You want to go to the World Series if they go? I'm like, yeah. And guess what? I'm wearing a D-backs jersey there, like a fair weather asshole with my D-backs towel, like, because I just want to drink and have a good time, you know? I don't want so, I'm a sellout in that manner, but I like the Colts, obviously, because I was a Raider fan as a kid. But I like the Colts now because I used to catch Pat's fucking warm-up punts before the seasons.
Yeah.
And I just stayed on board with them. And, why not? I mean, at this point, like, what am I going to do? Go to the Rams now? Like, that's way too whorish of myself. I'll stay with the Colts. I like the
Yeah. Well, you're what, like, I call on this show, like, an NFL swinger, which is fine. Like, it's not a big deal. You could decide week by week. Like, yeah, it's all right. If you want to
stay in the NFL setting all day.
Yeah, I do that with the NBA. Like, I am a huge Kevin Durant fan. I have been forever. I'm technically a Brooklyn Nets fan, but he left. So, like, yeah, I kind of fucking root for the Phoenix Suns because
that's how I was with Jordan, though. It's like I had to pull for the Wizards. I'm also, I know. Listen, I'm moisturizing exfoliate, so you can't tell how old I am. But yeah, after the '90s, it's pretty much a wrap for me. I don't know what it is about Gen X. In the 90s. The 90s was so incredible for everything that I don't like everything now is just subpar. I don't give a fuck. Outside of Kobe, like everything's subpar. You guys could get into fucking I know that they think now everybody's the greatest now because they have to think that. They're from this period. But so anything past Jordan and 90s West Coast hip hop, also East Coast, but anything past 90s hip hop, R&B, and sports, I'm pretty much I don't know. That's all I'm pretty much dumb.
I do think that sports were just different. Like, I'm not quite as old. I was born in 93, but still, like, even my childhood, like, sports now, like, even football, it's just, like, not as violent. Like, it's very soft. We throw a flag for everything. Like, just let the guys fucking play football. It's not that serious.
And you know what else? I hate that everybody has a podium. Like, before...
Yeah.
Everybody at the podium. The only people that heard your dumbass takes about shit you really don't know about that you think you know about. Right. You to only be in the living room that you're in now. It's just a feed full of just goofball takes, and everybody, everything is the tragedy, and everything's somebody's just cheating, and so also that aspect of like, Sunday Twitter, football Twitter or something. I'm just like, I'm over it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you're all experts, dude. The coaches are all fucking just there until you get hired. But again, I think that's just the old man creeping into my soul. So
the crying over refs and calls is like out of control these days, which I'm gonna maybe accredit that to the younger generation. Bill Belichick is no longer with the Patriots. You probably have known him very well as being a Patriots coach. Any thoughts, feelings on Bill Belichick?
Not too passionate. Although, let me bring my roommate in here. This guy could go back Colin Cowher right now on the back, on First Take or whatever the fuck show he's on. I mean, I don't know. Another great. He had to go at some point. He just doesn't. That organization needs to shift gears, obviously. It's just, but I think he's going to go to Dallas. That would be incredible. I don't like the Cowboys. I don't like them, but I just like that move for whatever reason.
Yeah, so Cowboys fans are very mad. I actually just got a DM that I posted on Twitter right before this show. That was telling me to get a life, stupid broad. Broad is hilarious. I was like such a funny, like, you want me to get a life. The funniest part is that in his bio, he had his where he works, which is so like adorable. I love when people do that. Like, I mean, you're just exposing yourself here. But I think if McCarthy loses in the first round to Green Bay, like, don't tell me that Jerry Jones isn't hard over the idea of bringing in Bill Belichick. I could totally see it happen.
Yeah, that's some old white money type shit going on right there. And plus, I mean, and it might not even help, but you can only do so much. But again, he is obviously one of the greatest coaches of all time, and why not? Like, at the end of the day, it's even if it doesn't work out on the field, it's a great money move. It's a great way to get Dallas really on the map, like on the radar of being talked about, more jerseys and tickets being sold. So, yeah, I think it's awesome. It's fun just to think about and just throw it around and watch it happen. I mean, the dude, he's divorced. He doesn't got nothing going on.
No.
You don't have a wife at home that he has to like feel all right. I've given enough of my life to this. I need to, bring home my family. So I mean, why wouldn't you want to, unless I think he's too blue collar, old school to just have that mentality. Like, you know what, fuck football. It was a good run. I'm just going to go bang around the planet and just have a good time and eat good food. So I don't know what happens, but it's always funny though. Like how much, how old is he? Like 70, 68?
I think
I don't know, but he's that old.
He's 71 because the whole thing is like Saban 72, Carroll 72. So there's this whole, people just find, and I like to do it too. So it's fine. I won't like talk too much.
Yeah.
People like to find these little, connections there. So all these 72-year-olds of these greatest coaches are retiring, whatever. But I think Bill Belichick, like he can't. He's addicted to football. Like I think it's an addiction. I don't think he could quit it.
So.
He's addicted.
I think he wakes up thinking about plays.
I don't think.
I think he wakes up thinking about. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please.
I was just saying. I think he wakes up thinking about plays. I think he wakes up thinking about a play that didn't go their way in like 2007. Yeah. I think the dude. He's. It's just one of those things where he's married to it, and it's like his real passion. It's what he knows, and it's if you're not that hardcore into what you do, then you don't get the results he gets. So I don't ever see him. I don't see him just riding off into the sunset. That's for sure. So
when Tom Brady left the Patriots, and I'm a Giants fan, so obviously my favorite memories of Belichick are him losing to the New York Giants.
Why not the Lions?
What? No, well, I'm from Connecticut. I've only been here 2 years.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
I don't have any like emotional connection here. I think it's an interesting place. We can talk about the Lions in a second, but when Tom Brady was leaving the Patriots, I always said, had the Giants not won in at least one of those two Super Bowls, definitely that 2007 year, I think he would have just retired. Like, I think that guys like Brady and guys like Belichick, like they're chasing like this perfection out of a season that you're not going to get. And I think the Giants ruined, like it's kind of fucked up. Like if there are people that, that's their hell is trying to accomplish what the Giants took away from them. So you really think he would have quit right then and there? I think Brady would have been done. If Brady got his perfect season, I think he would have been done. I think he's too competitive. I think just he wakes up too driven every day, just walked that off that many years ago. For him to just have quit, like that dude is an athletic specimen. I mean, my back hurts sometimes just because I slept too heavy. I drink a glass of wine and I'm fucking hungover. Like this guy is like he played till 43 years old. Yeah, that's banana land, actually. I mean, I know that if I had unlimited budgets, if I had hundreds of millions of dollars, I'm sure that I can go do a whole bunch of stuff to make myself feel like I'm 25 still. Yeah. That's in the legal parameters. Right. And that's what they do. I'm certain, whatever they are doing, like, why wouldn't you do that if that's you're making all your dough? But yeah, no one's doing it. I mean, who else did it? Who was in the 40s? Joe Namath? I don't know. Fucking many people outside of punchers or kickers. Yeah. It's crazy. And then we got Flacco back in here doing his shit, which I think might come to an end. Another guy that's like a huge competitor is talking about Michigan is Stafford is going back to Ford Field. You are in Rams territory. Do you have any thoughts on that game? Like, is it autumn? Because what's funny is the narrative is Stafford's first time going to Fort. Like everyone's ignoring the fact that it's also a golf revenge game. I don't say that about golf, but I think it's because Stafford is just he was there. He's the heart and soul of that city for so long. Like he was like their beacon of hope forever. Like that's all they had was him. Yeah. And he's so loyal to them. But I don't know. I think it's just another one of those cool NFL narratives. Just another reason to have fun watching the game. I don't. But that guy deserves it. I mean, he was to be that. As good as you could be in that situation for so long. Yeah. Those Detroit winters are so cold. I mean, all that losing, getting hit, just losing and getting knocked down and being cold in Detroit, you got to give it up just for that alone. That's like double the normal NFL career for somebody being in Detroit that long during the losing years. Yeah, I can't even imagine. Like that's why I love when like these younger Giants fans are crying and putting their little like fan resignation letters up on Twitter. I'm like,
Yeah.
you were a spoiled fucking brat. I know that you were, a fetus when we won Super Bowls, but there's franchises that have it way worse than we do.
Yeah. I just wish I wish I was just athletic enough to even just be a backup, like he's, not Joe Flacco level. That guy came in. I mean, he's goddamn near the MVP of the last half of the season, but, not really.
Like a big Nick, like a Nick Foles. Like he really.
Or like, even not even Foles, like somebody like Casey, what's his name? I don't know. The guy that was
Keenum or Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I wish I just had enough to be a Case Keenum type dude,
Perfect. Or like I always said, like Colt McCoy, like he was the perfect backup.
Perfect example.
Perfect.
A Colt McCoy. If I had a dad growing up, I could have been a Colt McCoy.
If someone had just pushed me, granted I'm a girl, so it wouldn't have worked out. But like my kids, when they're born, like there's going to be a couple things we do. We're going to learn.
You got big front office vibes.
I do.
Yeah, you got big front office, female GM vibes. Like you would just come in and shake up the whole organization.
I would. People would hate me.
Kind of like a Moneyball kind of shake up, where the old school is really, that's the kind of vibes you give that I get on this interview right now.
And we'll blame, we'll blame the New York Giants on that, I think. Like, I think that's
they should probably bring you in.
Tom Coughlin, probably. I watched the 2007 Football Life documentary. It's like 47 minutes on YouTube. If you want to feel something, it's a great little YouTube video.
Bad or good? Coughlin's OG. He's like 200 years old.
Something. Yeah. It's great.
I don't know if he'll hire you, but I don't know. I think he's too old school.
No one's hiring me.
In his prime, I think women weren't even allowed to vote. And he was happy about that. So I don't know.
He was. Exactly.
I'm not sure, but I think maybe in Jacksonville, there's a spot open for you over there. They're real. They're more progressive. I think that's where you.
Well, yeah, they also steal money over there. It's like what happened? Some guy stole like $100 million somehow or something crazy on a credit card.
That's insane, man. Yeah. People are just stealing. Like, why they get so greedy? Like, what do you guys think? That you think he's gonna walk this off? Like, you think you can take 100?
You're gonna get away with it? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's pretty bananas. You're gonna get in there though. You're gonna clean up that front office.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get shit back on track.
No, yeah. You want to spend money? You're coming right at the office, and we're gonna talk about it. Every transaction, gotta know. No one's getting. You don't just get a credit card with me.
No.
But yeah, some of these decisions I could never understand. Colts are in a good spot, though. I think Anthony Richardson coming back is a good thing.
Exciting.
I think it's great.
Yeah, that I'm really excited about. Obviously, it was pretty heartbreak city. Him getting injured so early, and then obviously with the Jonathan Taylor BS. Finally, but Jonathan Taylor started really come out past it at the end of the season. What did he have? Like 100? He had 150 some yards, or maybe 150 plus yards this last game.
Yeah.
I hate the way that that Irsay was talking shit about him publicly, things like that. I don't like. I'd like for Irsay to not be, not to be as vocal. Like, we get it, you're a billionaire, it's your team, bro. You're making moves. We know, okay. But if you give, Andrew Luck $30 million just because he left, he gets to keep his money, even though he didn't play those seasons, and then you're talking shit about $3 million for Jonathan Taylor, who's damn near the MVP last season. I don't like that type of shit.
No.
Obviously, their front office has been getting shuffled around and doing some things with coaching. Or this year, Steichen did well. That is Shane Steichen's how you say it.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a great season next year. It's really exciting to be a Colts fan right now because of the potential.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's always about the potential. We don't know what's going to happen. But I'm excited for next season to watch actual Anthony Richardson with a year under his belt of education in the NFL, and Jonathan Taylor coming in with some money and happiness and seeing what they can do.
Yeah, talking about backup quarterbacks. I mean, Gardner Minshew is perfect too. He's a guy you want a great backup quarterback, and we're going to see the price of them go up. Gardner Minshew did an excellent job. I think the Colts are in the perfect spot. Like, I think that they have all this momentum going into next year. I have a no bet list. The Colts are on there, but with the stipulation that once Anthony Richardson plays for 2 games, we're good. We're ready to rock. Like I will bet on the Colts again. I'm very pro paying your guys. So like just pay Jonathan Taylor. Like I'm always for that. I'm the same way with Saquon Barkley. Giants fans hate me for it, and that's fine. Pay your guy. Like at the end of the day, like I've seen guys go
Pay your guy.
Pay your guys. And I think we'll see a shift at some point. You're seeing these guys not have full careers in one place. And that used to be a thing. Like you played one place and you retired one place, and you don't see that anymore. So I'm very pro like paying your guys. Is there a game you're most excited for this weekend?
I mean, I can't really say that I'm that excited about the games. Just whatever's on, I walk in there.
Like, but you're the $20 chef.
But the Green Bay Dallas game obviously is going to be fun to watch. When Dallas loses, or if the Eagles lose, obviously, then they have a fun. They're going to have a nice little opening coaching position. But I don't know. Obviously, it's going to be. I like what I hate to say it, 'cause I'm an anti-Cowboys fan, but I like watching the Cowboys play recently.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch from the outside because of the fan sway. Like how much they're so ride or die in every single play. It's just fun to watch them. To watch them suffer, then celebrate, then suffer, then celebrate. That's pretty fun from the outside perspective.
It's the best.
And the fact that I saw the funniest meme today. I don't know why I'm saying this, but it was I'm gonna tell my kids that this was Dak Prescott. And it was Sinbad, and that shit killed me. I don't know if you know what Sinbad is. You're a little younger. Google them.
I know who Sinbad is.
I'll just DM you the meme itself. So fucking goofy. But if you're older,
I have a folder dedicated to Cowboys memes, and like I'm waiting for the launch just because. And I see J Tuck in the chat. So sorry, J Tuck. But when the Cowboys do lose, I am ready to just come at all of the Cowboys fans that were very nasty to me through years. But you are the $20 chef. So what are we making this year? I mean, this week.
Last night, I haven't been doing any produced episodes, but I have. On my stories though, I cook 5 days a week. Like last night, so my roommate came back. He was here with his friends, and so I just made all. I went and I found this great meat market in LA.
Yeah. And
they do, like all the grocery stores here. No one really carries Prime. I don't know if anybody knows about the meat breakdown, but Prime is outside of A5 Wagyu, and then any kind of Australian or Argentinian Wagyu or American Wagyu, which you got Prime, Choice, and then the rest of the shit, whatever the cows that no one wants. That's the bound. So always be looking for Prime when you're buying meat. Choice is your second choice. That's what it should say, second choice. But I went to this great meat market yesterday. If you look at my Instagram, I put it all up. I cooked it last night for my roommate. I got like a 3-pound tomahawk.
Nice.
Which is a humongous ribeye and with a big ass bone. And I made that last night with a little mushroom tortellini with some pesto as a side. So I don't like to get too stressed out when I cook. So unless it's like a special occasion, I'll have usually like a vegetable and a protein is mostly what I cook. Sometimes a pasta, sometimes a lot of rice. I do like fried rice. I make a lot of fried rice.
Me too.
I'm a stoner. And I don't know if you're eating this for breakfast, but I'll usually make rice and then I'll just put it in the refrigerator. I don't make it to eat right away. I'll make it in the morning in the rice cooker. And that because obviously if you make fried rice, it's way better to do it cold when the rice is settled and got a little sticky. Yeah. You have to wash the rice if you want it to be extra sticky, by the way. Okay. And then I make a lot of fried rice, and then I eat egg on top of it. I'll put a couple of over medium egg on top with some sesame seeds, some chopped up scallion, and a little bit of chili crunch.
Yes.
I got a lot actually for breakfast. I'm pretty routine
good, right?
Robotic with making the same shit over and over that I like until I'm like, all right, I'll try something. Yeah. Until something else gets drafted and takes over. Right. But I make a lot of, I like to cook a lot of steak. I love making Korean short ribs. You ever eat those? The little bones.
I have eaten them. I do love to cook. That's my new thing. Producer Ryan doesn't know that I want to start doing cooking stuff, but we won't add too much to his plate. But I have not tried to cook short ribs yet.
They're so easy and they're so delicious.
Yeah.
Mexican. I Mexican everything up also. So a lot of my recipes, I just find a way to like throw Mexican influence into it. Obviously, I have a really good Korean marinade for Korean short rib, but I like doing Mexican. I want to put all my short ribs, I'll put 3 pounds in a big ass bag with orange juice, 2 or 3 different citrus in there, orange, lemon, lime, cilantro, a little bit of olive oils. I sell my own rub, so sometimes I'll put that in there, or, garlic, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, just the basics, maybe a little cumin, and let that marinate. Cilantro and onion in there, obviously, as well, and the orange peels.
Love it.
And then I just cook it like that. I mean, and it's such a great appetizer too. Because if it's really good beef, it's gonna be 15 a pound for Korean cut short, it's out ribs. So it's a good appetizer, and it's fun. It's fun to eat them, and it's different because you can grab them by the bone.
Yeah.
And,
it's
just really. I love cooking. I cook I've been making shishito peppers a lot lately. I love shishito peppers. A lot of I make chicken. I make chicken once a week on Mondays for my dog. I'll boil 2 pounds of chicken breasts or chicken thighs, and I chop that up real fine, and then I put it in a bag. So I put a little third cup for my little tiny doggy. Where's she at? Her food at night. I usually make her an egg in the morning. I'll make a couple of eggs, and she'll get a little third cup of egg in there. I like to cook for my dog because before I did that, my dog, she grazed on her food. I'd put her food in there and let her in a bowl, but now that I add just plain ass chicken or an egg in there, this dog, I love the life, and I do it because I know how excited I am when I'm at the grocery store. I'm going through the vegetables or the protein, and I'm like, well, I can do that. I'm just creating what I'm going to do. And then I'm so excited when I'm cooking it, and then I get to sit down and I get to garnish it all and make myself feel like I'm at a restaurant. I know how excited I am. And now I see that my dog, as soon as I started getting her an egg or chicken in her food, she's coming to me at, I don't know how well she knows exact times, but 10 a.m. around when we eat breakfast, when I make her egg, about 7 p.m. when she's eating dinner, and at 6:30 or 6:45, she's coming up to me like, my guy,
I'm ready. Let's go. Come on. You're the chef. I'm ready for my food. I am absolutely.
And she's never excited about food before like that.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, I'm saying I'm starving now after you talking through this. Why don't you let everyone know where they can find you? I will let you get out of here. Got to get you back on. I know our next guest is here. Let everyone know where they can find you so that they can eat a bunch of your recipes.
Okay. My cooking show on Instagram, $20 Chef, 20, and spell out dollar and chef. Instagram, I have YouTube also. Doesn't have that many. I used to get all my views on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram through Barstool, but we never promoted the YouTube that much. But and then just my name, Shaun Latham, right there, just like right there.
Right. Yep.
On Instagram and Twitter and everything. I just followed you on Twitter. I'll follow you on Instagram. And it was a real honor to be on here. I really appreciate you guys having me.
Awesome. All right. I appreciate you coming on. Have to get you back on soon. I could talk to you all day. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. And now, the best day of the week. It's Money's Munaf. It's Munaf Fridays. What's up, Munaf?
Hey, what's going on? It's a different feeling this time of year because Texans aren't usually in the playoffs. And here we are. We got a game tomorrow. I'm excited.
How about those Houston Texans? We'll have a moment for them because I still don't feel like my listeners have given me enough credit. If you started with the show, I have been saying since the beginning they were worth a sprinkle to win the division. Then I told you week 4, then I told you week 8, and I've been talking about it nonstop. I still think that DeMeco is in the running to win the Coach of the Year. It wouldn't surprise me if he ends up winning it. What are your feelings about this game? I will do a spoiler. I'm taking them as my dog. I've rode with them through this whole season, and I'm not going to stop now. I think that people are putting, everyone's very excited about Cleveland. Cleveland is a very public team. Where are you at as a Houston Texans fan?
So obviously we go back to that matchup they had a few weeks ago, right? That CJ Stroud didn't play in, and we got absolutely crushed in that game, and Amari Cooper absolutely went off. But I mean, you mentioned DeMeco Ryans, right? I think that he's going to come into this game with a better game plan. And I think the key that's going to be for the Texans this weekend is, can they generate some type of pressure on Joe Flacco and rattle him a little bit, right? Because, I mean, being 38, 39 years old, we know he's not going to be scrambling. He's going to sit back there in the pocket, try to fling the ball around and do it that way. So hopefully our guys up front can generate some type of pressure on him, get him a little bit rattled. And I want to see what CJ Stroud does early in this game. I know I think last week's game against the Colts was a playoff. Obviously, it was a playoff game, right? Because whoever won that game was going to be in. So you got, I guess, a little bit of a taste of what this playoff game is going to be like against the Cleveland Browns. And that was on the road last week. Now you're going to be in front of your home crowd. And, obviously in Houston here. So, I mean, I'm not picking against my Texans. I got them at +2.5. I put a little bit on the money line there as well. I know all the trends are saying rookie head coach and rookie quarterback don't have a lot of success, but I just feel like watching CJ Stroud this season, Steph, that he's just a different guy. And he had an incredible, one of the best rookie seasons we've seen in quite some time, maybe since Justin Herbert, Andrew Luck in that conversation. So, yeah, I'm excited. Definitely going to be watching this game, of course, and hopefully the Texans do go on to the next round.
Listen, he plays like a vet. He's carried himself like a vet. Like, this isn't your standard, oh, yeah, it's a rookie entering the playoff. It's not the same thing, in my opinion. Also, let's not forget that D'Amico Ryans has been a part of some winning teams more than he has not. So I think that both of these guys, and also the defense is getting healthy. So I'm very high on this Texans team. It's very easy. And also they get a second look at Flacco. If you can get Flacco, you add some pressure to Flacco, you make him make some mistakes. He's turned the ball over a fucking lot. If you can get him to do that, this defense is healthy. I think at least covering that 2.5, I'm not mad about it. So I'm higher on the Texans than I think the general public is. Let's jump into some player props. Haven't talked to any yet, so I'm sure everyone's itching, ready to hear some. What is the first one that you want to talk? And we haven't talked this week, so I don't know what you are on. I have no idea. I'm going into this blind. Where are you at this week? Give me your first one.
Yeah, so let's say in this game, we're talking about the Texans. Obviously, if the Texans are going to have success in this game, it's going to have to be with Nico Collins and CJ Stroud. So I'll start with those two guys. Last week, we saw CJ Stroud and Nico Collins have a big game. More in particular, Nico Collins on the first pass of the game, 75-yard touchdown. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but I think that if you're going to have success on the offensive side, it's going to have to be led by Nico Collins. And we did see Daniel Ward suffered a knee injury, but the coach said he's going to be okay, but we'll find out how good he's going to be on Saturday in Houston against the Texans. But Nico Collins over 75.5 receiving yards. I think that's a gimme for me. And I'll say with CJ Stroud as well. I think this game may see some points being put up. We know Cleveland's defense has been one of the best ones in the league thus far. I know at home and their home and road splits have been night and day, where they've been absolutely terrible on the road. But I think CJ Stroud over 33.5 pass attempts is what I'm looking at as well, as far as the Texans side, at least for this game.
Yeah, I think, and if people were listening last week, I gave out that Nico Collins, 100+ yards I got a crazy number on it that changed very quickly. DraftKings said it was like 260. Came down to 220 by the time the game started. I think this game, and they didn't see Nico, so this is a different game. They also have a guy down, so I think this game goes through Nico. They also have plenty of weapons. I haven't heard a lot about Dalton Schultz, haven't heard a lot. I think Noah Brown too. Like, they have weapons there. And I actually took CJ Stroud. I'm not going to give this out as like one of my official plays because you're not going to get this number anymore, but I got his rushing yards over 10.5. He's a guy that just gets it done. Like, he's just going to put the team on his back. If he needs to run a little, he's going to run a little. I know that's up to 12.5 some places. On the other side in this game, I think Njoku is the guy that you're going to see a lot go through as far as the Browns go. It's been Flacco's guy. I mean, you look at Njoku's numbers week 1 through 12 before Flacco came in. We're talking a totally different Njoku. This has been Flacco's bestie, as the kids would like to say. 30 receptions since Flacco took over. He's averaging 9 targets per game. I like the over 5.5 receptions. I think they'll try to limit the yards on him. So for that reason, I did go receptions. I know everyone is in on the receiving yards. I went the 5.5 reception. So that's at +100 at MGM. It's probably moved since I last looked. But as far as that game goes, that's another. On the opposite side, I think Njoku is what is attractive to me.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one as well. The numbers speak for themselves, like you mentioned, since Joe Flacco has come in as a quarterback for the Browns, that David Njoku has been his guy. The targets have been there. I think it's been 4 straight weeks at least 6 receptions for the Cleveland Browns with Flacco under center. So I agree with you 100% on that one.
Awesome. What else you got for me?
Let's go to the next game on the night. That's going to be the Chiefs and the Dolphins. I know
Okay.
the weather is going to be the concern in this game here, but I'm looking at Isaiah Pacheco through the air here.
Okay.
Over 19 and a half receiving yards. I don't hate the rushing and receiving. I think that number was at 88 and a half for this game, or 83 and a half last time I checked. But so another team that's dealing with some injuries, right? The Dolphins. They pretty much are picking up guys off of the street to come
Have you
play.
seen it? It's bad.
It's really bad. Like they're down
Yeah.
with their top 3-4 guys on that defensive side. So I think that, especially in a game that's going to have a lot of weather implications as well, you'll probably see a lot of running in this game between Isaiah Pacheco and him, catching screen passes, Charlie checkdowns for maybe Mahomes. I really think that he's going to be passing it to Travis Kelce and Pacheco in this game, because we saw it all throughout the season, all the drops that the wide receivers had for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think when it comes down to it, Isaiah Pacheco over 19 and a half receiving yards. And I think this number is a little disrespectful for Travis Kelce. I know he's been absolutely terrible down the stretch of the regular season in the month of December. But when it comes down to it in the playoffs, he's played in 18 career playoff games. 14 of those games, he's had at least 6 receptions, has Travis Kelce. So when it comes down to it, I think Mahomes is going to find his guy, Travis Kelce, over 5.5 receptions in this game for me as well.
And you find where, like, it reminds me a lot of Gronk towards the end of his career. Like, you find where these guys, they're going to save them a little bit. And then when it comes to the playoffs, it's going to piss people, like fantasy football guys, off, because you're going to get a lot of action from these older guys. But that's because they're saving them for when it matters. And I think that Kelce does have a big game. I also like Pacheco. I didn't get in on his rushing because it moved way too quickly. If you're someone that has the 59 and you got over that, like, God bless you. You go play the lottery, because I can't even imagine that number being out. And I feel like I look at numbers every 20 seconds, but I took his over 15 and a half rushing attempts at minus 130. I think whether he's gone over this, they're going to rely on Pacheco. They did it in the playoffs last year, actually made me fall in love with Pacheco. So that's my favorite for that game. What else are you looking at?
Let's go over to Sunday now. I really like to see a lot of points being scored in that game between the Rams and the Detroit Lions, right? Lions have been one of the better rush defenses this season. I think they're number 1 rush defense DVOA, if I'm not mistaken, for the regular season. So, the storylines in this game, 2 quarterbacks going up against their former team. So I think they're going to be flinging it all over the football field in this game. So a couple ones I do like here for the Rams side. Stafford over on his passing yards in this game. I think that he's going to get into the realm of 300 yards. And you take a look over the last couple of weeks, Stephie, over the last 4 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, the Lions defense, what they gave up to the quarterback position. So Nick Mullins threw for 411 yards in week 16. Dak Prescott threw for 345. And then the last week of the regular season, Nick Mullins, again, they faced him. He almost threw another game for 400 passing yards, where he had 396 in that game. So now you have Stafford coming in. They have a healthy squad. Obviously, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. I think Kyren Williams will be a little bit limited in this game as far as rushing the football, because, like I mentioned, with the Lions being so good on the rush defense. So I'm looking at Stafford over on his passing yards. I got that at 271 and a half. It might be up to around 274 and a half. And then Cooper Kupp, man, 70 and a half receiving yards. Don't be surprised if both Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua have 100+ receiving yards in this game, because they're just that dynamic. I think it's a buy low spot here for Cooper Kupp. I think it's the same kind of thing we talked about with Tom Brady and Gronk, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. I took the over 70 and a half receiving yards for Cooper Kupp. So two alike for the Rams side.
I like it. I see Benedict. I saw it after we were talking about that game, but Gray receiving yards is definitely interesting. If you know what that number is, I'd love to see what it is. You want to know who I like in this game?
Yeah.
Demarcus Robinson, D-Rob, is gonna be my playoff daddy this weekend. Receiving yards is at 40 and a half. Receptions 3.5. Longest reception 19 and a half. Have already smashed that. Anytime touchdown plus 320. He's gone over this yards in 5 straight. He only played 8. Like, we're not talking about a guy that played a lot. 6 in the last 2, and over 6 receptions in the last 2, over in 3. So I think that Demarcus Robinson is actually a sneaky play here. I think there's a ladder potential here, depending on how you want to play him. My favorite is definitely his longest reception. Lions are top 5 in most deep passes allowed, as are the Rams. So that's why I also like Amon-Ra and Jay Will to go over theirs. We'll get to them in a second. But you look at Demarcus Robinson, he's gone over this longest reception of 19.5 in 6 of his 8 played. 5 straight. The last 5 straight, he's gone over this. And the last 3 games, and listen, I didn't go too far deep into it, so this number could be 13. It could be double for some of these players. They've allowed 10 plus players to go over this number. Like it's an actual flaw in the Lions backfield there. So I think that Demarcus Robinson to go over that 19.5 is beautiful. I mentioned, I'll just get to them quick, but Amon-Ra, St. Brown, there's definitely something to be said. 24.5 is where I start to cut it off with these longest receptions.
Yeah.
Still a good number though at -114. And then Jameson Williams, I think I've gotten to a place, I did bet the over 18.5 for his longest. But I like his receiving yards to go over that 34.5. I think that number is far too low. He's gone over this 3 straight. He's the type of guy that we see in the playoffs that ends up being a weapon. So that's what I'm looking at as far as this game goes.
Yeah, I like it. I was going to mention Amon-Ra St. Brown as well, right? I think Sam Laporta, I don't think he's been officially ruled out for this game, but obviously with a knee injury, we don't know how effective he is going to be. But I mean, you mentioned it, right? The 2 teams that have been bottom 3 in the wide receiver yards allowed since week 12, Lions number 1, the Rams number 3. So they're giving it up to the wide receivers. So I think it'll be a big game for Amon-Ra and St. Brown. I think there's a lot of potential here for same game parlay with the wide receivers in this game. You mentioned it, right? Demarcus Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you want to go look at Puka Nacua as well. So I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch 100% between the Rams and the Lions here. I'll throw out a couple more here that I'm considering or looking at. Obviously, we know what the weather implications are going to be, that Buffalo Bills and the Steelers game. I've been on Jaylen Warren a lot this season. I know we've talked about it on your show here as well.
Yeah.
17.5 receiving yards for him. I think that number's a little too low, despite.
Why does it keep coming down though? Like, what is it, the weather? Because it opened at 19.5.
Yeah. And that you're exactly right. Because every time I've played it, it's been 19.5, 20.5.
Yeah.
I think it's just the adjustment for the weather, right? They're probably expecting this game to end like 10-3 or something in that range. But I mean, I don't expect Mason Rudolph to be chunking it down the field. I think it'll be a lot of checkdowns to Najee Harris, to Jaylen Warren as well.
Yeah.
17.5 is a little conservative for me.
And I think, so it's funny that you brought him up because I actually put into my notes to ask you if you felt better about the receptions or the receiving yards. Because I think that there's maybe an argument to be made to just take an alt line and his 4 receptions, like, and just be done with it. Because he's gone over that in 5 straight games, like whether it's 5, 6, 4, no matter what it is, they're using him in that way. And I think a lot of that has to do with Mason Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you could play both. Like, I think you could play both of them.
I think, yeah, you're right. Can you take a look at, and I think that especially when I look at running backs, receptions, or receiving yards, like I want to know if they're getting the targets. And he's been getting the targets. Like over the last, 5 weeks, he's had at least 5 targets. And he's the guy that makes the most of, getting receptions when he's targeted, right? So just the last couple of weeks here, 5 targets, 5 receptions. Week prior, 4 targets, 4 receptions. Week prior, 6 targets, 5 receptions. And same thing against the Colts, 5 for 6. So he's a guy that has good hands. He's a guy that will not have any drops. I think it could go either way. That if he does get 4 receptions, Steph, that he'll get over 17.5 yards, in my opinion. So I think you go either way. I can't argue against that.
You're so right. The last one I wanted to run by you, which I think this is just the market not totally catching up. Aaron Jones, over 71.5 rushing yards, -114. This is the best mismatch for the Green Bay Packers in this game going against the Dallas Cowboys. Last 3 games, his involvement has increased like very quietly. It's actually surprising to me that not a lot of people are talking about this. He's gone over 110 plus rushing yards in 3 straight games and 20 plus attempts in each of those games. they're obviously using him. And this goes back to kind of what we've been talking about with the Kelseys, with the, like you wait and use your guys a little bit later on in the season when it matters. And I think that's what you have here with Aaron Jones. So I actually really like that over, getting it at -114. I think there's an argument to be made. Maybe there's a ladder situation here, but I think they can control the game a little bit more with Aaron Jones.
And that's exactly what I was going to mention, right? If you want to stay in this game, if you're the Packers, or even, win it outright or even cover the number here, we know what Dallas's offense can do at home, right? They averaged 30 plus points at home this season. How do you keep that offense off the field by running the ball effectively? And that's going to be led by Aaron Jones. Like you mentioned, 3 straight weeks where he's had 20 plus attempts for the Green Bay Packers. I know AJ Dillon has been hurt a little bit. Not sure if they're going to trust some of the backup.
Can we have an honest talk about AJ Dillon? Quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not great. Like, not looking good.
No.
Sneaky.
I picked him up on fantasy, thinking that he was going to have a breakout year, but he just absolutely was in the shithole all season long.
He did his best. Do you have any last player props here?
No, I got through those 6 games for Saturday and Sunday. I haven't dug into the Eagles and Bucks yet, just because again, there's a lot of injury concern for the Eagles. I know AJ Brown didn't practice yesterday, and I think today as well. And again, Devontae Adams has the injury as well. So I'd probably look at maybe like a Jalen Hurts rushing yards maybe in this game, or probably pivot to like a Dallas Goedert in this game. If those guys aren't able to go. So, but I haven't gotten a chance to get into the game. But I think the ones that we discussed here, I think it's a really good looks for this weekend.
What do you think your favorite is? I'm going to put together a sleeper slip very quick here. I've already added to this one. And if you haven't played on sleeper yet, basically over under, you can use the code SMALLS, get 100% match on your first deposit here. But they do this thing where they do sales on picks. So in honor of our team, the Houston Texans, I took over CJ Stroud 195.5 passing yards. I think that is, we don't even need to have a conversation about that. You add Stafford in there to go over his half pass yard, like they do with these sale. I added Jalen Warren, like we were talking about, over 17.5 receiving yards. That's got us at 5.5 times. Is there one more you want to add? What's like the pick you're the most confident about?
So I think the 2 tight ends we talked about, it's either Travis Kelce over 5.5 receptions or David Njoku.
Let's see what we got here. So we can do Kelce's receiving yards is 56.5 on here. Let's see what we got. And Njoku is 54.5. Which one do you
They have receptions?
I don't know, dude. Let's see here. I think they do. Maybe they don't for those 2. Let's see. Receptions. They do. So Njoku is 5.5, and so is Kelce.
I think I like the Kelce angle a little
let's do
more.
It.
Yeah.
Ooh, and 10.4 times. So $10 entry is going to win you $103. To wrap this out, I'm going to ask you to grade my quad Ds.
Let's do it.
Okay. The dad bet of this. I think I finally came down to it. I wasn't sure. I almost did Warren, but we're going to go dad bet over 15.5 rushing attempts for Pacheco. Dud is going to be under 233.5 passing yards for Tua. All I had to hear was that my guy he's wearing gloves. He's not wearing gloves. It's too much for me. I'm over it. My dog is our Houston Texans +2.5. And then dumb fuck, look what I learned. On DraftKings, you can parlay longest reception now. So I had to hop on the opportunity. So I'm giving you a +516 parlay. It's David Njoku over 19.5, his longest reception. D-Rob over 19.5 as well. And Brandon Cooks over 19.5. What do we got?
I mean, look, you found the consistent 19.5 number. So, I mean,
what are we doing?
You got to go with that mojo.
Yeah. So add scale of 1, we'll do 1 to 5. What would you give that?
Oh, I really like all of them, honestly. I'll give it a 4.5.
Yes. I'll take a 4.5. That's fine. I'll take it. All right. Final score for the Houston Texans, Cleveland Browns game, and then I get you out of here.
Let's go 24-21 Texans win.
I love it. I'm with you on that. If you are not following Munaf, you are missing out. He also has the Propcast show, which I'm going to listen to. Is it up yet?
Yes, I was not on this week, but Rod and Chris are on that. They did a great job.
They're both fantastic. So go listen to that. Follow him on Twitter, and we will see you next Friday. Go Stroud.
Go CJ Stroud. I'll talk to you next week. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Bye.
And now,
hi.
hey, how's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. Good show. Great stuff. I was betting a lot of props while you were talking. It's perfect.
Oh, perfect. I love that. Did you have one that stood out to you?
I mean, I just trust what you are doing. So
I
went and I bet all the quad D's ones.
I love it. Fantastic. What questions do we have this week?
First question up. Hypothetical. How bad was Arthur Smith? Put Mac Jones and Bill Belichick on this Falcons team. How many wins do they end up with?
What did the Falcons finish? They finished the same thing every year. 8 wins or 7 wins? 8 wins, probably.
I think they had 7 wins, right?
7 wins. Yeah. It's been the same thing for the past 3 years with the 8th overall every single year. I think they win at least 3 more. I think they get 10 wins there for sure. Arthur Smith. See, I think people are dramatic because they think fantasy football is everything. And I love that for everyone because it's my religion as well. But he had to go. I think they would get at least 3 more wins. Mac Jones, though. But see, with Mac Jones, they definitely would have passed the ball. They would have just handed the ball off more, which is what they should have done all season.
Right. And think about how much better with Bill Belichick, the tight ends would have been, right?
Yeah.
Think about what he did with Gronk, and finally we could unleash those Falcons tight ends.
Or it would have been tearing off because of Jonnu, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, question 2 from Jeremy Casperson. How much will the Rams blitz Jared Goff, who does falter under pressure?
A lot. I think that they have to be expecting that. Like, as much as the Rams do know Goff very well, I think that Goff also knows the Rams very well. So this game is going to be interesting. They're going to blitz the shit out of him. I also think they're going to blitz the shit out of Stafford too. Like, let's not forget that Stafford can get very stiff back there in the pocket. He's not as nimble as he once was. He's a dog. He always will be. But this is going to be a good game. It's going to be a really good game. I will say.
Who do you have in this game?
So at the beginning of the week, I had the Rams. I still have the Rams. I don't like how public the Rams are right now. So my issue is I stress that Campbell is the reason they lose this game by being a little bit too aggressive. But at the end of the day, if the Lions win, like, am I shocked? No, I think it makes sense that the Rams win. If the Rams win, they're going to the conference championship. One thing I will say, and I wanted to bring this up before we get to the next question, the planning to boo Stafford is like top 5 corniest things I've ever heard in my life. Like, he was all you fucking had. And there's really people online like you guys are planning to boo Stafford. Like, all you had for years and years and years. Like, I get it. He's coming back. It's like, show a little respect. I get they're making posters about banning anyone who shows up in a Stafford jersey. Like, the planning to boo Stafford is just it's like the corniest thing I've ever heard. And I don't think it's going to fly either, because I think most Lions fans have a lot of respect for him.
All right. Yeah. And you're in Michigan, so you know the general consensus.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
All right. Last question. Would you take JJ at 6? This is from Nikki the Good.
I already responded to Nikki the Good. I will elaborate. No, I wouldn't. If I see JJ McCarthy drafted to the Giants one more time at 6, I don't know. I might have my eyes out with this pen. Like, I cannot do it. I think that JJ McCarthy, listen, it's hard to evaluate some of these guys in college, especially for, like, just the general fan, because they're in such a great environment where everything is perfect, and they're surrounded by all this talent and a great coach, and everything is perfect for them. So when they go to the next level, we've seen it happen, it doesn't exactly pan out. And I think that JJ McCarthy, while I think that JJ McCarthy has a lot of great skills, he's not someone you take at 6 overall. I don't know that it's that different. And here we go. Like, Daniel Jones is 6 overall, JJ McCarthy is 6 overall. I think we just need to calm down a little bit. Like, I would rather see them make a push, like move up, get Jaden Daniels. If not, then wait. And I don't think JJ McCarthy goes that early. I think that's already like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I just don't think it happens.
Hear that, Nikki the Good? Yeah, that's the stupidest thing she's ever heard.
Says the guy that wants DeVito still next year. So, but I would love I want them to draft another quarterback. I'd love that room to be Daniel Jones, whoever they draft, and maybe a cheaper bet. So,
all right.
And JJ McCarthy.
Including DeVito. You're not including DeVito in that room?
Well, yeah, he's on the practice squad.
All right. Well, that's all our questions for today. Well, let's get out of here. Let's wrap this up.
Yep. All right.
We will be back next week.
New schedule, Monday, Tuesday, so that we can get golf in. Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Good luck this weekend on your bets. And we'll see you guys soon.
Watch him make it, break it, break it, break it.